was, we did burn some time, and hopefully thank you for sticking around. I just wanted to say a little bit about the way we work. You, those of you who have traveled with us, we try to look, particularly in our private groups, we look after every bit of detail. But what I want to talk now is about how we go about picking. Martha, you need to hit the presentation thing on the very bottom, the screen. Yeah, down at the very bottom where you have the
I
presentation.
did, and I disappear again, and
No. It says the presentation scroll at the bottom. Very bottom, you have a screen on the right-hand bottom. You click on that. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll keep on speaking, and then Martha, whatever works.
I will.
Yeah. Now, so what we do, we, in addition to organizing these tours and going on the tours and hosting them as well, we look for feedback. We look for feedback from all of us, everyone you see there, Caroline, Tracy, myself, Janetta, Angelica, Tal, and Victoria. We get feedback from you on what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy, and hopefully we get very little on what you didn't enjoy. Things we can use to tweak different trips, the way we want to repeat things. And we also get where you want to go next. So when we get that where you want to go next, I mean, now talking about not standard products, not just getting onto a standard itinerary on a standard land tour or standard cruise or whatever the case may be. We're talking about specially designed trips, such as the Morocco trip we went on, in March of this year, and other trips that we've organized for you individually or in groups. So that is where Gateways International comes in. They specialize in that sort of detail. They have tremendous reach across the Middle East, Turkey, Italy. I believe the founder of the company was born in Morocco. Was he not, Martha?
Yes.
And also we have folks on board who are born in South America, and they basically know these areas and have connections, tremendously deep, connections. So folks who have gone on trips that are organized by Gateways have all come back real happy. So we've been really, really pleased to be partners with them. And we've had this partnership, I would think, I don't know, 13 years, 12 years or so. Is that about right, Janetta? Any more comments
yes, it
before we
is.
pass
Yes,
on
it
to
is.
Martha?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, as I'm remembering now, our first adventure with Gateways, if you will, was when you and I went to the cruise around South America, and they had organized the excursions for us.
Right.
And the pre and the post extension was, I think,
Having a little sound problem.
yeah, and ever since and such. So
Yeah, we
You
had
okay,
sound
Joe?
problems there, unfortunately, Janetta. Hopefully
okay.
I didn't have that.
Couldn't hear me?
Anyway, Martha, it's all yours. I'm extremely excited to see what you, that Patagonia thing, which is, my goodness, you have a cruise, you have zodiacs, you have this massive glacier. As reading history as a kid, you read about these flats in the northern part of Canada that were flattened by glaciers. And now with the size of that thing in Patagonia, you can understand why a glacier would flatten land that's already frozen. Anyway, yours. You're not here to listen to me. Take it away, Martha.
Why not? How are you, everybody? Thank you very much. And you know what? I think that after the introduction that Joe gave to Gateways International, I don't need much to present. Just to tell you that we're a Canadian company. We have been for over 34 years, and we keep counting. And like he say very well, we tailor-make itineraries. So we are really happy with this relationship that we have been dealing for. I think that is 16 years, but that's okay. I don't. Okay. So the very first program that we are going to present is definitely in Morocco. Uh, I don't know for real how many single ladies we might have in this presentation tonight, but just remember that Morocco, the Sex and the City second movie, it was a lot of that was made in Morocco, not necessarily in Abu Dhabi like they pretend to be. But anyway, Morocco is located in Northwest Africa. Uh, yes, if any of you have been to Spain, you know that it's right across. Um, the extensive migration that they have for centuries in there, definitely the people, the Berbers, who also are called Imasijan, which means free people. They pretty much live in Morocco, in Libya, and western part of Egypt. Uh, so it's just the native people from this part of the world. Um, a lot of people don't understand and don't realize probably how developed Morocco is. If we're going to be talking from the tourist point, the very first country who is still going and nonstop to Morocco is France. Okay, uh, but even though they have a great uh, tourist industry, the beauty of Morocco is that a lot of their ancient architecture and traditional customs is still in there. The language that they spoke in there definitely is the Arabic, the Berber in all these communities. French is talked probably mostly from Rabat, which is the capital south, and Spanish, because in the northern part, if we go back a little bit into history, the northern part of Morocco for many, many years, it was a Spaniard colony. So you are going to find all these languages in here. Morocco, it's definitely a very special place, and I have to keep admitting some more people in here. Um, it's a very special place in so many ways, if we can say it. And let me go here. You have, because of the position of Morocco, you're going to find so many different landscapes. Okay, you're definitely going to find the fantastic beaches from the Atlantic side. If we go to the latitude of Morocco, it's right across from the Canary Islands, which means that they have a pretty good weather pretty much all year round. Uh, Definitely another highlight is this desert, the Atlas Mountain, which is the high Atlas and the low Atlas. In the itinerary, obviously, you're going to be crossing the Atlas Mountain. The Reef Mountains, which are located just north of what they is called like the Blue City, which is Chachawatan. It's another great place. Wildlife that you're going to find in there, it's, you know, fennec, the desert foxes, the gazelle, the lizards, the jackal, a lot of these animals that are goes well with what the topography that they have in there. Morocco have 4 imperial cities. Rabat being the number one and then the first stop that you're going to be making in your itinerary. Not only is the capital, but it's also the only one that is facing the coastline of the Atlantic Ocean. There are some landmarks in there that, as you can see, the Mausoleum, the Kashba, the Hassan Tower. The other imperial city is Fez, which also you're going to be visiting, and is one of the most ancient cities in Morocco. They still have a great gastronomy, great traditions, and recognized as the cultural capital. As a matter of fact, I will say that probably Fez is my favorite area in Morocco because you feel that you're there. You have another one, which is Meknes. It's called the Versailles of Morocco. It's very small, but also a pretty nice city. And last but not least, and probably the most popular for all of you, is Marrakesh. Uh, I don't probably need to say much about Marrakesh, because if somebody knows a little bit about Morocco, probably the very first name that comes is Marrakesh. So when is the best time to visit Morocco? Um, and you can see in red in there, the summer, June to August. It doesn't mean that don't go. If you like hot weather and you like 38 and 45 degrees, by all means. But definitely the best time to go is during the spring and during the fall. Okay. Um, it's because the weather help with all those conditions. Uh, you're going to see the spring coming up, the flowers, the forest quite develop. During the winter, it's a little bit like weather-wise, it's better than the southern part of Spain. Again, because it's lower and it's right across from the Canary Islands. So, with the exception of summer, in my personal opinion, I think that Morocco is a country that they can visit at any time. Now, I would like to kind of point, if you can follow me, I would like to point out a little bit of your itinerary. You are going to land in Casablanca, okay? From Casablanca, you drive to Rabat, which is about an hour and a half drive. You spend a couple of nights there, you go to Fez. From Fez, you're going to be driving through the Atlas Mountains, all the way to Mersuga, which is where you're going to have the overnight at the luxury tent in the desert. From there, we are going to go to Ouarzazate. From Ouarzazate, we are going to go to Marrakesh, and from Marrakesh, we are going to end in Casablanca for the last 2 nights. Okay, so I just wanted to point out a little bit all what the tour have, all the areas that you're going to be driving in Morocco. In there, you have an overview of the itinerary. Of course, for more details, et cetera, you have to contact your team Clarkson. But it gives you an idea of what is in there. Now, let's talk a little bit about the experiences that you're going to have in Morocco. One of them definitely will be going to the souks. And the souks are the markets. That's the name that we have in there. You're going to have the sound, the rich colors, and the unique smells. You are going to have, and please, 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 please don't forget to do a little bit of your bargain, okay? That's one of the things that I love every time that I go to Morocco. I just go there. And the other beauty that Morocco has when come down to the handcraft is that it's pretty much any one that you buy, it's going to be unique. So because it's hand produced, so it's not like this done through the machines, and you know that every single thing is exactly the same. So you're going to have your unique pottery or anything that you buy. One of the beauties that I find when going through the souks, it's seeing the people walking and how they interact. It gives us a very good understanding of what the city, the cultural, the architecture, the way of living is all about. So me personally, I really like experiencing the souk, no doubt about it. It's completely different than going to St. Lawrence Market, completely different. Another experience that you are going to have is when you are leaving from Fez toward Mersuga, you're going to go through what is called the forest. And in there is where you are going to see a unique ape, typical from Morocco, okay? And it's the Barbarian apes. Now, when you make the stop in the cedars forest, I mean it, if you don't see any of them of the monkeys there, it's probably they're having lunch, or probably they went to for a siesta, or probably, I don't know, they decide to anything that you can think of. They decide to not show up their face. So most of the time you're lucky. But I need to mention, if you are not, in case that it doesn't happen, okay? Uh, Another experience, and I think that probably this is the biggest highlight, and I don't want to put numbers on all the highlights that you have with this itinerary, but it's definitely the overnight at the desert, okay? The fact that you're going to reach with your bus to the stop where you're going to take your 4x4, and then you're going to be driving through a little bit of the deserts and all the different villages in the Sahara Desert. Then when you get to the camp, you're going to have your camel ride. Don't worry, we're going to give you some water so you can, or wine, who knows? Probably can have a cold beer or something. Then you're going to go into your camel ride, which is phenomenal. The experience of being in the desert, and I have done it, and there is no lights. Oh my God, the way how you can see the clear skies and the stars is something else. It's something that it doesn't matter if you have seen it on a movie or anything. It's experience that you have to feel it. Like nothing can give you that experience but you being there very close to this. And why not? You know, after all this adventure day, look at going back to sleep in civilization. Look at beautiful the deluxe tent that you're going to have. So definitely this is a day to remember. The Deshna Al Fana, it's the main square in Morocco. Definitely, as he said in there, have been dated from the 11th century. It's located in the triangular square, just to start with before you go into the souk in Morocco. It's a masterpiece by UNESCO. And if you decide to go at nighttime into the square, you're going to find all these musicians, all these dancers, all these artists. If you are adventure enough, why not to go with a snake charmer? You know, but those are experiences that you can only really experience in countries like this. Now, I'm going to put this slide in here, and I'm sure that you have tried those Moroccan sweets and those Moroccan platters, quite healthy, and you don't even realize that it's a Moroccan style. But if you guys allow me, I would like Joe and Janetta to talk a little bit, because you just came back at the end of March, at the end of February, beginning of March. So how was your experience, guys, there with the food?
Yes, well, I will, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you can, okay. Joe unfortunately missed this spectacular day that we had at the Arabic house in Marrakesh. As everyone knows, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about what happened in Morocco when the pandemic was proclaimed, but Joe, with some other of our guests with our group then had to go to Rabat to visit the consulate, the Canadian consulate. So he missed a spectacular day where we had the culinary class at the Arabic house in Marrakesh. What can I tell you? I think it is the level of quality of how this class was run, how it was presented to us, to our group, has probably is probably the same level as the culinary shows we see on TV here on our TV channels. Perfectly organized. There were stations for each and every guest. stations for cooking, stations for washing, for cutting, a monitor in front of you to actually see up close and personal the chef as they prepare the food. And all of that was accompanied with great humor, with great instructions, great contribution, participation from us, from our group. It was unbelievable. We actually cooked a 3-course meal that we after that had for lunch, and all of us walked out of there with a small gift of a tagine. We all brought home a small tagine. What else did we bring? An apron, and I think recipes of everything that we cooked. Then we brought home with us. The whole event started in their tea room, actually, with the presentation of properly preparing tea, beautifully demonstrated by the presenters. And from there, we went on to the cooking facility, and it was fantastic. It was probably the best of our experiences that we had in Morocco on that trip. So we are very fortunate, and we are looking forward to repeat the same experience one more time when we go to Morocco next. It was amazing.
Okay, thank you. The plate that you see in here, it's is the famous tagine. Okay,
Mm.
and they present it most of the time like that, but that's the cooking tool that they use. It's cooked in a slow speed, and you have tagines of all different kinds. But Janetta will explain that a lot more than that. We're also going to do the fantasy dinner, okay? In here, you're definitely going to see the folkloric show. You have a great buffet in there, so everybody can eat as much as you want. And no different than in many places. Of course, you're going to see the events, you're going to see the horses, you're going to see, let me go back in here, you're going to see the different dances. So it's a nice, just to remember, it's a typical Moroccan night. And
Never wanted to go.
sorry? Somebody was mentioning something. Anyway, hand-picked hotels, we did it. And we have Sofitel in Rabat. We have the Riyadh in Fez. Now, I need to stop before I go to the other hand-picked hotels, something that I haven't explained about Riyadh. Riyadh, it's like when you go to Spain, you go to the Parador. When you go to Portugal, you go to the Posadas. When you go to Morocco, you have to stay at least one night in a Riyadh. What is a Riyadh? In the new vocabulary that we use these days, it will be like a boutique hotel. Riyadhs are some of them houses from rich people that were converted into hotels or little castles, but they are called riads. So I needed to explain that just in case that you're not familiar with the term. In Mersuga, definitely we already saw this great accommodation. Those beds must be so good. And the Mersuga, there you have the camp. In our Ouarzazate, we have chosen the Hotel Berbera Palace, okay, which in here you're going to spend a couple of nights. Then you have the Riyadh again in Marrakesh, another Riyadh, very well location, situated right by the Medina, which is absolutely great. And while you stay the last 2 nights in the Casablanca, the hotel that have been chosen is Four Seasons, which I guess it does not need introduction. Okay. The package, I'm going to put all the inclusions in here so you can see them. And I need to mention a few things in how we build our itineraries. what is the beauty about this? Beside all the beautiful product that you're going to find in Morocco and on the different experiences, et cetera, et cetera. First of all, it's a private tour. Private, with everybody is, as far I know, Canadian, unless that any of you have a friend somewhere in Europe and want to join you from there. And two, we look for the right pace of the itinerary. It's not that you have to wake up every single day at 6 o'clock in the morning, run for breakfast, then run for the luggage. No, no, no. We try to keep the right pace, okay? Because you need to inhale, you need to savor what the destination have to offer to you. So in there, it's in an overview of the package inclusions. Definitely, if you need more details, you have to contact the team Clarkson, or I think there was somebody who say Joe and his angels or something. Was it Joe?
Yeah, Joe's Angels. That's right.
Joe's angels. Okay. So you need to contact them for more details if you are interested really in this program, which I'm telling you, Morocco is a destination that have become very, very popular in the past 3 years, and have to do with the fact that Air Canada have a non-stop flight from Montreal. So I think that sometimes that helps. So I'm going to move into the other presentation. And at the meantime, Janetta, Joe, if you guys want to say something.
Well, I noticed that some people are unmuted. I would encourage them at this stage to unmute themselves, or maybe Martha, if you'd like to do that too, unmute them for, for this period. This is unmute all, since you're the host. And the same, so anyone can ask questions at this stage. If not, we can do a little more fill in, Janetta, with the Moroccan trip. I think I see a lot of folks unmuted at this point, but some still unmuted. Choice. So any questions at all? Let's have them.
Is there only one departure next year?
Yep, it is. History for 1,000.
Yes, we have one departure from Morocco, which is currently scheduled for May. Do you want to take that up, Janetta?
Yes. So typically from our agency, we select, let's say, anywhere between 8 and 10 hosted trips that we customize and prepare for our agency. And the trip, the way we have designed and presented here tonight, is only scheduled to go out once next year. God willing, May will be a good month for us to travel, but as some of our guests tonight are listening to the presentation, they were booked to travel with us to Morocco this November. So this is the trip that we had planned for this November 2020 that is now offered in May of 2021. And if things don't work out in our favor, we may have to delay it again. And in that case, it will be offered again, most likely in the fall of 2021 or early say May again, 2022.
2020.
Time moves on.
Hopefully it will be 21.
And this actually, if you will allow me, Martha, just one more mention. As none of us know what the situation will be like, so we are proceeding as if the trip will go in May. If you're interested to join us on the trip, once you've reviewed the details, and we'll be happy to send you the day-to-day itinerary, pricing, and all of that. If you want to join us, the deposit for this trip will be fully refundable up until February. And in February, we revisit the situation again. And if we and our government think it's safe to travel, we proceed. If not, then we can either refund the deposits, or we can reallocate them for the later departure that year or for 2022. At that point, we'll have more detail on that. So hopefully that will help you, you know, in making decisions. We have to be very flexible these days, and we are trying to be whenever possible. We don't want to lock into, you know, payments that cannot be refunded, or, you know, whenever possible. So in this particular case, we are able to, like I said, either refund the deposits fully when in February we know how to proceed, or we can reallocate the money to a later departure. It will be totally up to you. So Martha, that was what I had to say. I don't know if there are any questions. I can't see any on my end here, but if not, our guests know that they can always send us their questions either by email or call us. Call your specific consultant that you're working with, and we'll be happy to offer more answers.
Right
If
on.
there are no other questions, Martha, we can now fly to Patagonia.
Sure. It's inspiring Patagonia.
Mm-hmm.
So, what can I say about Patagonia that you guys don't know? What is happening in here? Okay. For those of you who came late into the presentation, I just need to present this picture again so you can see the Team Clarkson, you can see your consultants, and like I say earlier, you know, those angels, right?
Martha, I'll interrupt you. It's the lady
Yes.
on the left who gave it that name, Joe's Angels.
Oh, who was it?
I can't,
Caroline?
accept, you know, credit for giving it that name.
It was Caroline who
Anyway.
gave it to you?
We move on. We could move on.
Okay. So the region of Patagonia, it's quite big, okay? A lot of people think that Patagonia have only to do with the southern part of the tip of South America. And it's not, you know, Patagonia cover pretty much, you allow me to point in here, from New Good, all the way down. Divided, of course, in northern Patagonia and the Austral Patagonia, which means the southern Patagonia. And that's the one that we are concentrated in this particular itinerary. Of course, you know that it's in the tip of South America, and the Patagonia is shared by the two countries, Argentina and Chile. The Patagonia means lands of the big feet, okay? Pata in Spanish means food, and Gonia have to do with the native in that time. It's a very nice story when Ferdinand Magellan arrived in 1520, if I'm correct, and it was a famous book who describes pretty much this native. And the reason why it's called the land of the big feet is because what the Patagonians, the native, used to step on the snow. So when the Spaniards, you know, did the whole thing and went all the way there, then that's the footprints that they saw, and they thought that they were giants. Well, no, they were not really giants, but that's how it got their name. Almost the longest living species on planet, like the Alerces tree. It's called, if you think that Canada is called, or Toronto and Ontario is called, Patagonia can be pretty cold as well. Remember that at the southern part, so we have the opposite seasons, okay? The largest colony known of the Magellanic penguins, they have 1.7 million penguins in all the area of the Patagonia. Just a little short of the same population that they have there. They say that in the Patagonia is estimated 1 inhabitant every 1 square kilometer. So you can imagine, okay? Covered with mountains, forest, lake, glaciers. Definitely it's quite attractive for those travelers who are doing a lot of soft adventures and stream adventure as well, because we have mountains in there and trails that it goes depending on how strong you are or how much you want to force yourself. Definitely, it's a bucket list destination. I have two type of lists. I have the bucket list and I have the A list. And the A list, it comes down to top three. So regardless that you put it in your top three or in the bucket list, which is probably about 10, this is something that I believe that we all at least once should be in this area.
They don't even, evidently he's taking her to her parents and.
So, I really will need everybody to be mute.
Yes, you can able to do that, mute all, Martha. Got it?
There goes. Okay. Anyway, some of the nature definitely that you're going to see in there, it's when we're talking about the flora and the fauna in this place, it's a paradise for nature lovers. Okay, you have 9 very important national parks. You have over 350 glaciers from the north, which start in Puerto Montt, all the way down to Ushuaia. Okay, you have the rose hip, which I don't know if any of you have tried it, which is very good. In Spanish, it's called Rosa Mosqueta. And this is the only area, with the exception of South Africa, where this fruit grows. Okay, you have the cohiwi and you have the Aryan as well. Okay, so the Aryan tree, apparently it was the one that it was chosen. If you have seen the movie Bambi, you know, that night with this, with all the electricals and all the dark night where Bambi was so scared. These are the trees that inspire that part of the movie. At least that's what they told me.
No,
Definitely whales, penguins, guanacos, and pumas are part of the fauna in there. The hawks, the eagles, and the condors, definitely another ones that you're going to see.
Yep.
When is the best time to visit? Definitely. Definitely.
Can excuse me? Could you tell Brooke to turn her mute on, please? Brooke.
Yeah.
Brooke, if you're listening to me, can you mute yourself, please? Okay, so you have in there the best time to go. Definitely September and November is still, the days are pretty good.
Jars, I said, shop right here has fruit stuff. So that would have been.
Okay, Brooke, if you can hear me, could you please mute yourself?
That's strange, because usually if you don't get it, it says it's not delivered.
Okay, so
None of these.
definitely starting from September to March is the very best time to go. Also, autumn is quite nice.
We were out in the Jag, and Jeanette phoned and said,
Martha, if you hear me, can you give Joe, can you make Joe the host
here,
so he can control the mute?
Yeah, he can take it if he wants.
I can't take it. You have to give it back.
as soon as we got home, I phoned and made an appointment for Casey.
Okay.
Himself to go today.
And here, well, he doesn't come on.
No, they're doing everybody, but they're not doing necessarily the same thing. Casey didn't get the dose. But I,
Okay.
Okay, yes, it seems that It's working now.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay, let me. So you got the season. Sorry for that. Really. So we have the seasons in here. Remember, like I was saying earlier, we are in the opposite, so our seasons are different. So the autumn is a good time to go. March to May. June and August is their winter and can be really, really, really cold. September and November, I don't think that you can be scared about it because at the end of the day, we're all Canadians. The temperatures during the day, we're talking about 18, and probably at nighttime, we're talking about 9 to 10 degrees. November to March, you can reach during the daytime between 24 to 25 degrees. You're never, ever going to reach the 30 degrees, unless that, who knows, you know, I shouldn't say never, but usually it's between 24 and 25 during the day. At nighttime, it can go down to 12 degrees. It can go down to 13 degrees. So that's, and I'm talking about the tip south, like the Ushuaia, the Punta Arenas. Like when you are in the Calafate, it's a little bit northern, so it could be a little bit warmer. So again, in here, you're going to have a quick overview of the itinerary, at least, you know, the how long it is and some of the highlights. Again, go to your Team Clarkson. They will give you more details about this. So you will be flying into, you start your tour in Buenos Aires. From there, you go to El Calafate, which is home of the Perito Moreno. From there, you fly. And this is important because I was showing before the map in Morocco, and all that is driving. Everything in here is flying, with the exception of the cruise, of course. The distances are quite enormous, so you have to do the flying, okay? And I don't want you to laugh with what I'm going to say next, but when we talk about experience, definitely the Regulator Cemetery, it's one that you cannot miss. And probably you're going to say, oh my God, Martha is crazy. She's sending me to a cemetery. No, the history that you are going to find in this cemetery, the architecture of this cemetery, it is just, beside the fact that Evita Peron is here. It goes really, this cemetery since day one have been for those important last names. It doesn't matter today how much money you have. You can be the richest person in Argentina, but if your last name it's not in their book, you are not going to be buried in the Recoleta Cemetery. So it is an experience to go there, no doubt about it. The Perito Moreno, which we already mentioned it, and something that I have to mention about the Perito Moreno, it's the size of the glacier. It's a little bit bigger than the city of Buenos Aires, if that can give you an idea. I was telling you yesterday that in here, guys, you have to make sure that you get a piece of ice from the glacier and put it in your glass and have your scotch, because that's the way to do it in here. It is a phenomenal site. If we go back probably 20, 25 years ago, and I would like you to write that name. And when we finish with the presentation, it doesn't have to be right away, but you can do it tomorrow. Go to YouTube and see the breaking of the Perito Moreno Glacier. It's a natural phenomenon. The many, many years ago, it used to be probably every 15, 16 years. And right now, in the past 20 years, have been happening every 7, every 8 years. Does it have to be with the climate change? Probably. It have to do with the whole world changing. Probably it have to do with the glacier deciding that he's going to present that beautiful show half as half years as it used to be in the beginning, probably. Whatever the reason is, but it's an absolutely phenomenal. And definitely I would recommend, because in the past we had some passengers by chance being in Calafate while this was happening, and they were calling us from the destination, can we stand our stay in here? No, I'm sorry. But it's a phenomenal site. It's something that you definitely need to see in person. Another experience is Ushuaia. You're going to the end of the world. At least it's known as the end of the world, because right after Ushuaia, what you find is the Antarctica. Even though the name, there is a very famous jail in that area. And the prisoners of the time, the criminals, were sent there. So you can imagine they couldn't, between the cold and between the distances, there was no escape like the other, like, what is it called? The Alcatraz. Thank you. Cultural experience that you're going to have, some of them, I cannot mention all of them. Definitely the gauchos. Gauchos are the cowboys in Argentina and in Uruguay. And by the way, gauchos still, the cowboys there, the gauchos is still being a very respectable job in Argentina and in all the Patagonia. You're going, as a cultural, you're going to also enjoy a tango show. The San Telmo market, which is a fascinating place to spend some time in there. When come down to culinary, who doesn't like beef? Well, I shouldn't say that because I prefer the fish, but it's okay. One of the things that make the steak in Argentina so good are two reasons. The first one, we cannot forget that just 45 minutes south of Buenos Aires, we have the biggest flatlands in the world. And that's where most of the cattle are, okay? So the cattle are not forced to go into any hill, nothing. The second reason is because they still have what is known as the British cut. So they cut the meat, they cut the animal there completely different than the cut that we're used here in North America. So those are two of the things that make this meat so good, and it's really good. I don't know if any of you are familiar with mate. Mate, it's a drink pretty much in Argentina and Uruguay. They put the herb in there, and these are produced very much in Misiones, which is where the Iguazu Fall is. And then, you know, everybody carry that, and then they mix it, it's their tea, and they pass it on. And we were laughing because I have a colleague who works with me. She's from Argentina, and she was like, oh my God, now with the pandemic, we cannot be passing the mate around. Now everybody have their own mate. But it's quite nice. I personally put sugar, and I would recommend you to try it. If you don't like it, it's okay, you know, but at least you try it. I personally believe also that it takes a little bit to acquire the taste. So that I put my sugar in it. The empanadas, you're going to find it in both places. You're going to find it in Argentina. You're going to find it in Chile. Empanadas are probably pretty much all over South America with different, they use the filo pastry, they use different things, but it's called empanada. And even in the cruise, for sure, you're going to have some empanadas. The Santa Rita experience, it's not only because you're going to drink wine, but the food in this winery is excellent. So that's another thing of the culinary experience that you're going to have. As a hand-picked hotels, the Sofitel in Recoleta, which the location is superb, really. The other one is the Costa en Aike in El Calafate. The Hotel Las Hayas, very well located in Ushuaia, and located in the national park, Tierra del Fuego. In Santiago, you're going to have the Renaissance Hotel, and of course, your Patagonian cruise, 4 nights, 5 days. You will depart from Ushuaia, and you will be going through the Cape Horn, through the Beagle Channel, to all the different, some of the national parks in there. You're going to see a bunch of glaciers, phenomenal. And the disembarkation will be in Punta Arenas, which is in Chile, okay? What make this cruise quite important, and I think that it's important for me to mention this to you. When you go on a big cruise, they are not allowed, they will go through, but they won't be able to go so up close and personal to the mainland because they're way too big, okay? In here, the cabins are a lot bigger. As you can see in the boat in there, probably in here, it will look better. You don't have an outside window, a round pot there. No, you have pretty much the whole window. For you to enjoy all what this area have to offer. Cabins are pretty big. And something that I have to mention when you are in this area, if for whatever reason, one day you wake up and you find and the sky is a little dark, it's a little cloudy, be happy. Because that is when you really see the true color of the glaciers, of the ice. So I need to mention it because some people say, oh man, it was cloudy. I say, but I'm sure that you got the best pictures. So some of the sites that are included is the Pia Glacier, the Cape Horn, as I mentioned to you, the Agostino Sound, the Condo Glacier, the Magdalena Island. You're going to see a lot of my friends, a lot of the Magellan penguins. How many of you have seen Happy Feet? Okay. Unfortunately, you are mute, but you can tell me later. You can share that with Janetta and Joe and the team Clarkson. If you remember Happy Feet was tall and gorgeous. Those are the king penguins. If you remember the other 3, 4 little Mexicans, and I don't know, of course, my first language is Spanish. If you haven't noticed, my first language is Spanish. Do I have an accent? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know why.
Take care.
I don't really know why in this movie, instead of getting penguins with Argentinian accent, they found a Mexican accent. But anyway, going back to my point, those little ones, those are the Mexicans. And you have in this area 1.57 million of them. So you're not going to miss any. At least, I promise you that at least you're going to see 1 or 2, minimum, okay? And I would like to share with you something that I speak better than words, okay? Here you go.
We've helped over 25,000 clients and collected over $1 billion.
Impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the up close and personal that I was mentioning to you. Nice, eh? Nice. So as inclusions, and I'm going to put all in here again. And I want to again make reference about how important is to do small group, private, right pace, right places to go, and get the best experience and the best that each country have to offer. And I think, I'm sure you got it with these kind of packages. So if you are interested, and again, you have two choices, bucket list or 8 list. But this is a place in the world where definitely it's outstanding. It's definitely something else. So if you have any questions, I'm here for you for a little bit, and then after that, I will give you and Janetta. As a matter of fact, Joe, take it on.
Okay, I just unmuted myself. But for me to take it away, I don't think it's necessary for me to take it away. You can remain the host as far as that's concerned. What you can do, though, is to unmute everyone, because this will be the time to allow them to
Okay, let me go
ask
in
questions,
here
which
and
is so important at this stage. And thank you again for coming on. I noticed tonight we do have another show after this, Martha.
oh, really?
Yeah, between one Pence and Harris, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that's why a lot of people is leaving now.
Yes.
At 9 o'clock. So it's I don't think we're trespassing on their time.
It's okay. You know what? I want to thank everybody who took the time to come to attend this virtual, but it's the new given now. I appreciate you taking the time. I know that everybody is crazy to go and see the two vice presidents to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But don't forget, your team Clarkson is there for you. These have been designed with a lot of love and a lot of thought and a lot of where do the passengers wants to go. So I give it up to you, Joe. Janetta, thank you very much for everything.
Well, thank you, Martha, for doing this. But I noticed a lot of people are still muted. If you wanted to unmute them, there might be some.
Okay,
I noticed you just got a congratulatory note, a thank you note from Judy F. Judy Foster.
Well, while we are waiting for perhaps some questions or comments from our guests, we should just mention. Can you hear me, Martha?
Yeah, no, I can hear it. I'm trying to unmute everybody, and it doesn't give it to me. So
on the right side.
Do you why it? No, I'm going into the right side.
If people want to stay with us a little bit, if you pick my name and you see more and make me the host, I can do it for you.
I can do that. Why it's no.
Hello, I have a question.
Okay.
Hi, Marianne.
Yes, hi, Janetta. I'd like to know how small the small groups are.
Okay, so the groups for these type of customized trips are typically anywhere between minimum 10 guests to a maximum, say, of 20-25 guests. Unlike some other trips that we've had where they've been organized on river cruise ships or ocean cruise ships, where the dynamics is a little bit different. Here, where there is a lot of movement, traveling time and hotel check-ins and check-outs, the groups can be smaller, and typically they are smaller. But we do have to have a minimum of 10. So in other words, the trip is guaranteed with minimum of 10 guests, and it can be the highest that we have had actually on a trip of this sort is 25. So does that answer the question, Marianne?
Perfectly well. Thank you very much, Janetta. Thank you.
Okay.
And will you be escorting these trips or?
Well, at the moment, we don't know yet, although, it depends on what everyone else is doing, but it's highly possible that either Joe or myself or both of us may be with you, or the guests traveling, or one of our staff as well. So Victoria, Tal, Caroline, Tracy, we all kind of rotate. We don't know yet. The trip for Patagonia is planned for October, November, but most likely late October of 2022. The one for Morocco is May of 21. Fingers crossed that will end up being that way. If not, it will be pushed back a little bit, probably to the fall.
Thanks, Janetta. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Joe, I don't see any other questions. I don't know if you see anything there, or.
No, well, this doesn't have the ability of showing questions on Zoom meetings. However, I've asked everybody to unmute, several have, so there's certainly the ability to ask questions at this point. We love to have them. It's a great exchange as far as that's concerned.
I have a question.
There we go.
I have certain food allergies, specifically to gluten. I'm a celiac, and I'm wondering if both of these trips will accommodate that.
Yes, we will. As a matter of fact, celiac have been something that a lot of groups that we have been doing lately, and definitely we can accommodate any requirement that you have of that caliber. Of course, we need to know way ahead of time.
Right.
Okay, just to make sure that everything is in place. And if for whatever reason we can provide some options for you ahead of time, okay, then we can do that. But yeah, no problem with your requirements into these two countries.
Okay, thank you.
You have a question, Robbie? I see you popped up.
That was my question. I just asked.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, I guess if there are no further questions, Janetta, do you have any parting words in terms of, this is an October trip, isn't it?
Yes, it is October 2022. So all I'm going to say in the end is that we all have to make sure that we do our share, we stay healthy, we stay safe.
Right.
And, hopefully, fingers crossed, the situation will get better, and soon we will be on our way exploring our beautiful world once again, because we do miss it.
Absolutely.
Let's go around a little bit. Martha, we thank you very much for putting this together and sharing it with us. Do you have any final words before we close the meeting?
The only thing that I can say to reinforce what Janetta was saying, we just have to take a little bit of ourselves into this equation and help as much as we can. I'm sure that we are going to be traveling the world again, because it's so much beauty that is still there. And I want to thank both of you for putting all this together, for your trust over so many years of working together. And we're here for you. And if you have any question, by all means. But the people, you have your team Clarkson, don't forget the angels, okay?
Before we close,
Thank you, Martha.
Have a good night, everybody. I think that everybody went to the debate now.
Okay, off we go. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for attending.
Okay, bye-bye.